making headlines this hour. President vows to remove red tape, which he says is behind most of the issues facing Maldivians pursuing higher education abroad. The Maldives strongly condemned the Israeli forces' bombing of Dar al-Arqam school in Gaza. The government says the campaign, launched in collaboration with Liverpool FC, will significantly increase the number of tourists visiting the Maldives.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naeem. President Dr. Mohamed Moise vows to remove the excessive red tape, which he says is behind most of the issues facing Maldivians pursuing higher studies abroad. The president made this commitment after meeting Maldivian students during his visit to the United Kingdom.
The luncheon he hosted for the students, President Dr. Moise acknowledged the significance of such interactions to listen and address the concerns of Maldivians studying and living abroad. The president said that one of the biggest challenges faced by students pursuing higher education in foreign countries is the delay in the disbursement of funds, adding that his administration is working hard to ease such difficulties. He promised to streamline all branches of government to weed out needless red tape and ensure maximum efficiency. The president also assured that issues will be addressed by giving equal attention to all students pursuing higher education abroad, including government and privately funded students. During the sit-down, the president had also reinstated No. 9 Rosemont Avenue, London, as the premises of Maldivian Students' Association UK or MSA UK. The property, which had historically housed Maldivian students and served as a hub to support Maldivian students in the UK, was in 2019 repurposed for diplomatic use by the High Commission of Maldives in the United Kingdom. However, the property has now been reinstated as a student accommodation and hub registered under the MSA UK. This decision aims to enhance student welfare and community ties.
The Maldives has been elected as a member of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, CSW, for the term 2026 to 2030. Marking a significant milestone that demonstrates the commitment by the Maldives to gender equality and women's empowerment.
The Maldives, alongside Qatar, Japan, China and Mongolia, was elected to one of the 5 seats available to the Asia-Pacific Group in the elections held Friday in New York at the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. This marks the first international election the Maldives has contested and won under President Dr. Mohamed Moise's leadership, further strengthening the country's global voice on gender equality. On the Maldives' successful election, President Dr. Mohamed Moise stated that it is a great honor for the Maldives to be elected for the membership of the CSW. He extended congratulations to all countries who were elected to the Commission and reaffirmed that the Maldives is ready to assist the Commission on pressing matters concerning women's rights and empowerment through collective partnership. The government of Maldives made gender equality a national priority and entered the election with purpose. The country submitted its candidacy to the UN on 31st July 2024, grounded in a clear commitment to advance women's rights and empowerment. This is the first time the Maldives will serve on the CSW, which sets global standards and policies on women's rights and gender equality. The Maldives joins the CSW with ambition and a policy agenda shaped by national experience and resolve. At the national level, the Maldives has strengthened legal protections under the Gender Equality Act and expanded women's participation in local governance from 6.1% of seats in 2017 to 39.5% today. However, challenges remain, particularly in workforce participation, which the government is tackling through innovation, inclusion and investment. In the coming years, the Maldives will help shape the Commission's agenda by sharing its perspectives, experiences and priorities. The Commission will focus on transforming care systems in 2026, reviewing progress on SDG 5 and gender mainstreaming in 2027, addressing gender in humanitarian crisis in 2028, and advancing access to justice and the elimination of discriminatory laws in 2029. The Maldives will contribute a small island developing state SIDS lens and practical solutions, from investing in care infrastructure and reforming legal frameworks to integrating gender in climate policy and harnessing digital tools to expand opportunity. The Maldives has made significant strides in advancing the rights and status both at national and international level through policy supporting women's empowerment, legislative reforms, initiatives that foster women to participate at leadership roles across a diverse range of sectors. The Commission on the Status of Women, CSW, is the principal global intergovernmental body exclusively dedicated to the promotion of gender equality, the rights and the empowerment of women. It was established in June 1946 under the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. The Commission consists of 45 member states, 13 from African states, 11 from Asia-Pacific states, 4 from Eastern European states, 9 from Latin American and Caribbean states, and 8 from Western European and other states. The election of the members to the Commission is staggered, and Commission members are elected by the ECOSOC to serve for a term of 4 years, beginning from 1st January and concluding on 31st December. The Commission operates as the principal intergovernmental body to promote the political, economic, social and educational rights of women. By assuming membership in the Commission, the Maldives looks forward to contribute meaningfully to the Commission's work and provide recommendations to the ECOSOC on pressing matters concerning women's rights and empowerment, underscoring the priority of the government for the advancement and protection of women's rights.
During his recent visit to the UK, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz met with Leeds Central MP Alex Sobel and senior officials to explore partnerships in healthcare, food security, climate adaptation, and digital transformation. The President discussed expanding telemedicine with support from Leeds-based health tech and shared his administration's push for local food production. He outlined plans to grow the Maldives' digital economy to 15% of GDP by 2030, seeking collaboration on AI and digital solutions. President Muiz also highlighted key climate initiatives, including solar panel projects and coral reef preservation. He sought expertise in clean energy, sustainable transport, and urban planning for Mali City. Talks also focused on education, with efforts to create more opportunities for Maldivian students at Leeds universities. UK officials expressed interest in supporting clean energy, transport, and public service digitalization. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to deeper cooperation. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has reinstated number 9 Rosemont Avenue in London as an accommodation block and student hub for Maldivian students pursuing higher education in the United Kingdom.
For years, Maldivian students relied on Rosemont Avenue as both a residential facility and a communal gathering space. That changed in 2019 when the Maldives' High Commission repurposed the property for diplomatic use. The President's office said the building has now been formally registered under the Maldivian Students Association UK, MSA UK, reinstating the property to its original purpose as a dedicated space for housing and community engagement. Government officials have framed the reinstatement of Rosemont Avenue as a part of a broader effort to safeguard student well-being. The initiative, according to a statement by President's office, provides a reliable space for social and academic interactions, strengthening connections within the Maldivian student community. The decision came as President Dr. Mohamed Muiz attended the ceremonial launch of a tourism promotion campaign between Liverpool Football Club LFC and the Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation MMPRC, an initiative designed to boost the Maldives' profile as a leading global travel destination. During his visit to the UK, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz also met with Maldivian students to hear their concerns. Students who met with the President raised concern over their academic and living conditions. The President responded with assurances that his administration would work towards solutions, reaffirming his commitment to supporting Maldivians studying abroad.
Speaker of Parliament Abdul Rahim Abdullah is in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, to participate in the 150th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU. The Speaker's delegation includes Minority Leader Ibrahim Nazil and lawmakers Asma Rashid, Dr. Anara Naim, Abdullah Rifau, and Hussein Imran Latif. The 150th Assembly of the IPU is being held from 5th to 9th April. The IPU is a global organization of national parliaments. The IPU was established in 1989. The Parliament passed a resolution on November 4, 2004 to become a member of the Union. Guidelines to establish Maldivian branches of the IPU were approved on June 6, 2006. The Maldives strongly condemned the Israeli forces' bombing of a Dar al-Arqam school in Gaza, Palestine, which was sheltering internally displaced persons. The attack resulted in the deaths of a dozen of civilians, including women and children, and injuring many more. In a statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Maldives also condemned the Israeli airstrike that targeted a medical warehouse operated by the Saudi Center for Culture and Heritage in the Moraj area in Rafah. The strike destroyed essential medical supplies intended to aid those injured in Gaza, a flagrant violation of international law and international humanitarian law, the statement noted. Reaffirming its steadfast support for the Palestinian cause, the Maldives called on the international community to take urgent and decisive action to end the Israeli violence against the Palestinian people and to ensure humanitarian access to the Gaza Strip. It further reiterated its firm support for the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination and the establishment of an independent and sovereign state of Palestine based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. Minister of Tourism and Environment Tariq Ibrahim states that the tourism promotion campaign launched in collaboration with Liverpool Football Club, Liverpool FC, will significantly increase the number of tourists visiting the Maldives, particularly in the luxury travel market. Liverpool FC, one of the most iconic and successful football clubs in the world, has formed a partnership with the Maldivian government to promote the Maldives as a premier tourist destination. Under the partnership, the Maldives will be promoted at Liverpool's Anfield Stadium. The co-brand campaign was officially launched in the United Kingdom this week in the presence of President Dr. Mohamed Moise. Speaking on the campaign, Minister Tariq told PSM News that the partnership with Liverpool FC has paved the way for the Maldives to be promoted among over 200 million Liverpool fans. He said the exposure will significantly increase the number of tourists visiting luxury resorts in the Maldives. The minister further said, with the Liverpool partnership, it is expected that the number of tourists visiting the Maldives this year will exceed the government's tourism arrival target of 2.3 million visitors this year. He said that the partnership alone is expected to attract more than 100,000 tourists annually. The minister also shared some of the activities that will be carried out under the Liverpool partnership. While the club will promote Maldives in London, United Kingdom, through advertisements on taxis and buses, the country will also be advertised on digital billboards and telecasts during matches at Anfield. Maldives Water and Sewerage Company MWSC's Managing Director Abdul Mateen Mohammed says all the ongoing water and sewerage projects across the country will be completed by the end of this year. The government had completed several water and sewerage projects last year, which has been stalled when it took office in November 2023. Speaking on PSM News Rajamid program, Mateen said establishing water and sewerage in 20 islands is ready to be kick-started this year. Some of these projects have already broken ground, while others are in the design phase, he said. Mateen said the aim is to complete all the projects by this year, adding that the project is a design phase will be completed by the middle of next year. President Dr. Mohamed Moise in January vowed to resume all stored water and sewerage projects throughout the country and ensured their swift completion. Volatility measures across global financial markets jumped and Wall Street's top fear gauge soared to an 8-month high as China imposed fresh tariffs on all U.S. goods in response to President Donald Trump's sweeping levies.
The CBOE Volatility Index, an options-based gauge of stock investors' anxiety about the market's near-term outlook, rose as much as 15.54 points to a 45.56, its highest since August.
So, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including...
War has begun, and we believe, this could set tech stocks and the tech industry in the U.S. back, potentially a decade, because the supply chain's built in Asia. And this is dramatic in terms of what's going to do for growth, for cost, for, I think many of these companies. And that's why it continues to be the most absurd thing I've seen on Wall Street covering stocks 25 years.
Meanwhile, world leaders' reactions have been rather sour, but some are still trying to negotiate and make deals.
President Trump's announcement of universal tariffs on the whole world, including the European Union, is a major blow to the world economy. I deeply regret this choice. Let's be clear-eyed about the immense consequences. The global economy will massively suffer. Uncertainty will spiral and trigger the rise of further protectionism.
Investors who have been battered by a sharp sell-off this year, the S&P 500 is down about 11% for the year, have been keeping an eye on the volatility gauge as an indicator of market stress.
Gaza health authorities states that the death toll from the Israeli strikes on a school building where displaced families were sheltering has risen to 27.
The Israeli military said the Dar al-Arqam school building in Tuf'a neighborhood in Gaza City had been used as a command and control center by Hamas militants and accused the fighters of deliberately using civilian infrastructure as bases. Hamas denies that it operates among civilians. Israeli troops moved into an area of northern Gaza to expand what they call a security zone around the edge of the enclave, the military said on Friday, days after the government announced plans to seize large areas with an operation in the south. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have been fleeing their homes in recent days in one of the biggest mass exoduses of the war, as Israeli forces have moved to expand the territory under their control. According to Israeli tallies, the war began when Hamas fighters stormed into Israeli communities on October 7, 2023, killing 1,200 people and capturing more than 250 hostages. Palestinian health authorities have revealed that Israel has reduced much of Gaza to ruins and killed more than 50,000 Palestinians.
Indian Prime Minister was welcomed by Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dissanayaka with an honour guard ceremony and a 21-gun salute at Colombo's Independence Square on Saturday.
The strike in President Vladimir Zelensky's hometown was one of Moscow's deadliest this year in the conflict, launched with the Kremlin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 2022. It occurred as U.S. President Donald Trump tries to end the war, damage residential blocks and spark fires, Serhiy Lysyk, the regional governor, wrote on the television. Modi, who arrived on Friday evening, is the first global leader to be hosted by Dissanayaka after he took office in September. India is looking to strengthen energy and defense ties with Sri Lanka and promote investments during Modi's two-day visit to the island nation. Sri Lankan President's office said in a statement that Prime Minister Modi's visit aims to strengthen the long-standing ties between Sri Lanka and India. The visit will see pacts signed on key sectors such as energy, digitalization, security, healthcare, as well as agreements related to India's debt restructuring assistance for Sri Lanka.
Americans Gabby Thomas and Kenny Bednarek respective $100,000 slam champions honors on the second day of the first ever Grand Slam track GST event at the National Stadium, Jamaica in Kingston.
Thomas, who won the women's 200-meter on Friday, finished second in the 400-meter behind Bahrain's Salwa Eid Nasser, but wrapped up the women's long sprints title. Bednarik, meanwhile, backed up his 100-meter victory on Friday with a win in the 200-meter to seal the men's short sprints title. Four-time Olympic gold medalist and eight-time world champion Michael Johnson is a GST board member, with the event giving athletes the chance to compete in one of 6 different categories: short sprints, short hurdles, long sprints, long hurdles, short distance, and long distance. Each category features 2 races, for example 100-meter and 200-meter for the short sprints, and will see house racers who are present for each of the 4 slams take on challengers who will vary from meet to meet. The winners of each category will pocket $100,000 per slam, while those finishing last will take home $10,000. After the opening event in Jamaica, Grand Slam Track has a 3-leg swing through America, visiting Miami and Philadelphia before ending in Los Angeles on the last weekend of June.
Iconic masterpieces including Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa and Edvard Munch's The Scream have been transformed into immersive audio experiences for those with visual impairments.
The project, dubbed Sound of a Masterpiece, is the brainchild of visually impaired composer Bobby Goulder in partnership with award-winning composers from the New Radio Phonic Workshop. The technology at the heart of the Sound of a Masterpiece project is Dolby Atmos sound. This cutting-edge audio technology allows for sounds to be precisely placed and moved in 3-dimensional space, including overhead. It creates an immersive, enveloping soundscape that brings a new level of depth and realism to audio experiences.
What we wanted to do here was really to use immersive audio to reimagine those artworks and bring them to life and give people really a new sense of understanding. If you can't see, for example, artwork, how might you depict it if you're using music, for example? You know, that might be something like the Water Lily Pond by Monet, or it might be, you know, The Scream by Edvard Munch. You know, it could be a range of different pieces of famous artwork brought to life with 3D immersive audio, and just really enabling people to appreciate the richness and the texture and the sheer immersion that's possible when you enjoy art.
Goulder, who lives with Stargardt's macular dystrophy, has defied his disability to become a professional pianist, composer, and musical director. His collaboration with the New Radiophonic Workshop's composers seeks to bridge the gap between art and the visually impaired, and also to make art more engaging for the general public. It also addresses a wider societal gap in art appreciation, with recent research revealing that almost half of the UK population do not feel they can truly appreciate art.
You know, art is a multi-sensory experience, and I think for us, you know, we're offering a kind of whole new way to experience art through the immersive power of music. And once people experience this and kind of build their own understanding of what it means, I think it will fuel interest and excitement in this. So we'd love to see a lot more multimodal, multimedia art, and really taking what Dolby have done here and building it into something that can be applicable to any artist's work.
The Sound of a Masterpiece album is available on various streaming platforms, with all proceeds being donated to the Royal National Institute of Blind People. Artworks include Jean-Michel Basquiat's King of Egypt, David Hockney's A Bigger Splash, Frida Kahlo's self-portrait with thorn necklace and hummingbirds, and Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory have all been sonically interpreted for the album. Spinks added he hopes it will lead similar projects. He said, quote, "I think it will fuel interest and excitement, and so we'd love to see a lot more multimodal, multimedia art and really taking what Dolby have done here and building it into something that can be applicable to any artist's work," end quote.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.